Alright, going to do a little follow-up video to my towing miles per gallon video for the truck. So in that video I talked about the average miles per gallon towing and towing experience with the truck, all on the highway and that. So we're going to look at what unloaded miles per gallon look like for the vehicle. So heading from Indianapolis to Cleveland, a little over 300 mile trip. We're on 70 right now, just kind of cruising along. And we're going to just see what type of unloaded Highway MPG we can get for the truck. Filled up before we got on the highway, had maybe 10 miles of surface roads before we got to the highway. So average speed right now for the 40 minutes been driving is 46 miles an hour. Average MPG is 20.3 right now with just under 30 miles driven. Cruise is set at 70. I'll look at the gauges here. EGT 360. Cold air charge temp 62.6. No boost right now. Intake temp right over 100. Outdoor temp is 46. Everything else is obviously in good ranges. Tire pressure, got done towing with this not too long ago, so still at the towing pressures. Haven't taken those down yet. It's cold, so I figure they will drop down kind of through normal air loss over the next few weeks to get down to some non-towing tire pressures. The truck doesn't have specifications for not towing. It just says 65 in the front and 80 at the rear, which is max on the rear and near max on the front. So we'll check in periodically and see how the MPGs go, and then when I get to Cleveland, fill up and see where we're at. Truck is stock. All emissions equipment are intact. EGR, DEF, DPF. DEF tank is full. Normal drive mode. Exhaust brake set on auto just for that extra little braking should we need it. And cruising. The only modification are some LED fog lights, and I took the foam off of the turbo inlet intake silencer. So the silencer, the plastic piece, is still in there, but I took the foam off just to lose any risk of that deteriorating and being pulled into the intake. Probably a more perceived risk than a real risk, but that's where we're at. So check back in a little bit if we have some more miles on the bet, see what the truck says mile per gallon wise, and we'll do a hand calculated at the end. Go from there. Alright, quick update. Drive in just under 2 hours. Truck says we're getting just under 22 miles to the gallon. About 100 miles of driving. Gauges and everything. Nothing too earth-shattering there. We'll see how this continues. Oh, we just hit 22. I will say that the computer has been persistently optimistic about the MPGs. Up to like 10% difference between what I calculate and what the computer tells me. So, let's see how this plays out. Alright, made it to the stopping point. Got 209.5 miles. Average of 23.6 according to the truck. 61 miles per gallon. 3 hours, 24 minutes of driving. When I type that all in, it comes out to 23.2 miles per gallon, so 0.4, so pretty close spread. So we're going to reset this and see what the second leg brings us. All right, finished up the trip from Cleveland to Indy. The last leg had 460 miles on it. Average 60, actually 61 before I was sitting here for a minute, miles an hour. 21.4 is what it says for that tank. When I did the math, it was 20.4 miles per gallon. First leg was a little over 23, which ends up a little bit over 21 miles per gallon average for the total for the trip. So pretty good for a full-size truck. All right, we're going to summarize the trip and put some final thoughts here. So for this trip, total of 671 miles for 31.489 gallons used, which led to an average of 21.3 for the trip. Now again, this is running empty. I've got the beds, cover on Rambox, all that good stuff, but no gear, not hauling anything, not towing anything. So on this trip, I had my best empty miles per gallon of 23.21 on the first leg. Looking through my records, the worst empty miles per gallon was 15.65. That was kind of a lot of commuting, a lot of around town driving. And then reviewing towing. So my best mile per gallon towing, and this is pulling my 30-foot travel trailer, has been 12.6 miles per gallon. And then the worst on the trip down to Florida was 9.2 mile per gallon, or MP, if you will, at 9.2. So there's some comparison to some other vehicles I have had. I had a 1994 12-valve Cummins, and everybody raves about the fuel efficiency of the 12 valves. This was a regular cab, flatbed, 4x4. Not exactly sure everything had been done to it. The engine had some work to it, but it still ran fine. Very little smoke. Did well overall. Its best mile, or its average, was 13.63 for the time I had it. Best was 17.25, and then worst was 10.3. Now, it was never towing, but it did on occasion get loaded up and pull metal, gear, scrap, all that fun stuff. But not a hard life for the time that I had it. I've also had a 2002 Silverado with the Duramax, a 6.6. Best I got out of that was 16.55, and worst I got out of that was 15.21. That truck I bought, put a new transfer case in it, drove it for a while, and then flipped it. So not a lot of miles on it. Didn't tow with it, didn't haul with it. And just for fun, compared it to 2011 Charger that I had. It was a 5.7 Hemi, was the RT package, and had all-wheel drive. So it was a pretty well-loaded vehicle. It averaged lifetime 19.76 MPG. The best I ever got out of it was 28.09, and the worst was 15.38. So when you compare that with a full-size diesel truck, it's actually, the truck holds its own pretty well, considering everything that it can do. So that's just a summary of the information I gathered from this trip, so I hope it was useful. This was done during the winter, so it should have winter blend diesel in it. If I get to do a long trip in the summer, I'll do another comparison to see if the summer blend diesel has better results. Thanks.